Good morning, everyone. This is Amber Castleman from the Office of Data System Management. Welcome to the end-of-year webinar focusing on the June cycle of MOSIS and core data. We are excited to have a lot of participants today, and we hope you all are doing well. We have a lot of information to share with you today in regards to June cycle and updates due to COVID-19. We will be posting today's recording, the presentation slides, and question and answers on the DESE webinar website later this week. This webinar is provided to you with closed captioning as well. If you need to download today's presentation, it is available in the top right corner of the screen to the right of the presentation slides. We are going to start today's presentation with sharing details about where you can find additional information regarding COVID-19. We also have a few announcements regarding June cycle extensions and omissions. Then we will go through the MOSIS reporting information, followed by the core data reporting. We have inserted COVID slides for various data elements throughout where applicable. At the conclusion of the presentation, we will have time for questions. We also have data staff available to help answer those questions from the various DESE offices. The department has shared a lot of information in the last few months related to COVID-19. This slide provides a comprehensive look at the links you will see us reference in today's presentation as we talk about the impact it will have on June reporting. The first item is the department's COVID-19 information page, and the second item lists the June cycle MOSIS and core data reporting during COVID-19 document that was distributed to administrators and the core data MOSIS listserv last week. This document provides a lot of information specific to June cycle and the impact of COVID-19. Let's start by taking a look at the extended deadlines due to COVID. We will share more details regarding these items throughout the presentation. The summer school application was due the beginning of May, but has been extended until June 1st. The ASVAB collection is usually due the end of June, but will be extended until August 31st. Graduation information for HiSET graduates in the MO option program may be updated until August 31st. And lastly, the industry recognized credential and technical skill attainment reporting for students is extended until August 31st. We have identified 3 MOSIS collections that will not be reported for the 2019-2020 school year. The April cycle will not be reported due to the cancellation of statewide required assessments for the school year. The CTSO collection will not be reported, as the department is able to obtain this data through other resources. And lastly, the assessment June ID cleanup trials the department creates for district and charter schools to review and clean up assessment results will not be collected. Now that we have discussed the reporting extensions and omissions, here is an overview of the end-of-year MOSIS files that will need to be reported. These include the student core and student enrollment and attendance, student discipline, summer course and student assignment, student course completion, student referrals, ASVAB, and end-of-course exceptions. The assessment CCRID cleanup is a trial created by DESE for district and charter schools and will still be collected. This is different from the June ID cleanup that we talked about on the omission slide. The June cycle is due on June 30th. We will share more details about each of these collections and any data elements from the extended deadline list in the upcoming slides. We are going to start with the MOSIS June files that include 8 different files. The student core file includes a record for each PK through 12 student who was enrolled at any time during the school year. This file is cumulative for the year, so the fields are reported if a student was that status at any time during the school year. The student enrollment and attendance file includes 1 or more records for students showing their entry and exit segments throughout the year with the attendance information for each of those records. A record is reported for each entry and exit from school if a student changes grade, full part-time status, or residency status. Remember that for each student who advanced from the prior school year, they will need to be in this file with a record on the first day of school showing their advanced entry and then the appropriate exit code. So if a student ended last year with your district or charter school but did not attend this school year, then we expect to see an entry and exit record on the first day of school. One other thing we would like to mention regarding these 2 files are the state level violations. These are edits we run across all district and charter schools in the state on the student core enrollment attendance trials. These become active when the majority of district and charter schools have submitted the student core and enrollment attendance files. You will see a shaded box when you first click on your trial where you can view state level violations if your district or charter school has any. The June state level violations check for students who dropped previously but are enrolled in a district or charter school during the school year, or if a student transferred out but is not enrolled in the transfer to district or charter. There is also a violation checking if a student has enrollment in more than one district and/or charter school. We will be following up on the state level violations this year, and we'll share additional information in the coming months specific to state level violations. The next few slides are going to cover COVID updates related to the student core and enrollment attendance files. We received numerous questions over the last month regarding the enrollment of new students during this time. You will need to report students that enroll or transfer out while school was closed due to COVID-19. Although the hours forgiven are not reported during COVID-19 time period, we recommend reporting 1 hour of attendance for new enrollments. This will not impact ADA and will avoid triggering the MOSIS edit that requires attendance hours. We have included the link to the administrative memo related to attendance reporting, calendar, and PDC spending. The entry and exit dates in the June student enrollment and attendance file should reflect the original planned dates through the end of the regular school year. This will vary from what will be reported on Core Data Screen 10 for the actual end date on the calendar. which we will cover later in this presentation. Hours forgiven during COVID-19 are considered not in session. Districts and charter schools will report no attendance or absence hours in the June student enrollment attendance file while not in session due to COVID-19. The exception to this is for a new enrollment where we recommend reporting 1 hour of attendance to avoid the MOSIS edit. Any student absence due to COVID-19 prior to school closure would be coded like any other student absence related to illness. The 94% or 47% attendance for MOCAP and virtual courses should be based on the new lower hours in session it would have taken to complete the course in seat. And we have included the link to the administrative memo related to the attendance reporting calendar and PDC spending. For 2020 graduates, schools may administer IRCs or TSAs through August 31st. The June cycle is due on June 30th, but districts and charter schools should continue to update student records for IRCs and TSAs and resubmit the student core as needed through August 31st. For your reference, we have included the link to the document providing additional information on IRCs and TSAs. The end-of-year dyslexia screening requirement has been waived through the end of the 2019-2020 school year. Students not screened due to COVID-19 should be reported as NS for not screened in the student core file. Students that were screened before COVID-19 should be reported with the appropriate coding. Core data screen 38, which collects the method used to test dyslexia, should be reported as usual. And we have included the link for your reference to the administrative memo related to more Missouri statutes waived due to COVID-19, which has the dyslexia waiver information in it. Reporting for Missouri fitness assessments has been waived for this school year. Students not tested due to COVID-19 should be reported as not tested in the student core. And again, we have provided the reference document to the administrative memo related to this. DESE has extended the deadline to test for the HiSET until August 31st. Therefore, the deadline to report students who graduate under the Missouri Option Program by passing the HiSET has also been extended to August 31st. District or charter schools have until that date to apply these graduates to their prior year graduates in the June student enrollment and attendance file. And you can reference the document listed at this link for additional information on the HiSET graduates in Missouri Option programs. The Special Education Office sent a listserv message regarding the reporting of early childhood outcomes in the student core file. Report entry ratings for children who entered ECSE and report exit ratings for children who exited ECSE during this 2019-2020 school year. For exits during school closure due to COVID-19, report the exit ratings if you have sufficient information. And we have provided the link to reference the listserv message. Okay, so that covers the June student core, student enrollment, and attendance information. The next set of MOSIS files we want to cover are the summer course, summer student assignment, and the course completion files. The summer course file is where you report the educators and courses taught in your approved summer school. The student assignment file does not need to have the students reported as long as there is a caseload reported on the course assignment file. The student course completion collects the final grade and credit earned by each student for each class taken. This is reported for grades 7 through 12. You also want to ensure you include any dual credit or dual enrollment information in this file as well for accountability purposes. This file is necessary to be reported because it is used for various programs such as MOCAP, APR, and CTE-based funding. The accuracy of this component of the file is critical. Students who complete a course with a required end of course EOC in the 2019-2020 school year will be assigned an exception by the department. The exception code will remain with the student until they graduate. The student discipline file includes disciplinary incidents resulting in in-school or out-of-school suspension, expulsion, or unilateral removal to an interim setting. Report incidents for removal from the classroom of a half a day or more. The student referrals file is a voluntary file and collects one record per student for the number of office discipline referrals, assistance referrals, referrals to special education, and referrals to outside agencies. The ASVAB file includes students in grades 9 through 12 who took the ASVAB assessment during this school year. The department is not yet able to receive this data, so we rely on districts and charter schools to report the data to the department. And as a reminder, the ASVAB collection deadline has been extended until August 31st for this year. The end of course exception collection collects the exception reason for any graduating student who did not take the mandatory end of course assessments. You may use the EOC history report in the portal as a reference for the assessment students have taken. You can also download the EOC exception list from the February Student Core Reports area in MOSIS and modify as needed. An exception reason can be added in the assessment type field, and the file will be in the correct format to then upload to the EOC exception collection. The department will assign the EOC exception to students who were enrolled in a course with a required EOC during the 2019-2020 school year. For this year's IEP graduates who would have taken the MAP alternate assessment previously, you will still need to report the exception code for American government. This is included in the criteria for determining college and career readiness measures for performance standards 3.1 to 3 and 3.4 of the APR. You will also still need to submit an EOC exception for seniors that may have taken content in another district or charter school but were not assessed. And we have included the link to the document providing additional information on EOC exceptions. The CCR ID cleanup file will be created for districts and charter schools. The department is currently working with the CCR entities for new dates of delivery, so the CCR ID cleanup files will be generated later than usual. We will update you when we have additional information. As a reminder, there will be no assessment June ID cleanup file generated for this school year. Okay, so that covers the information we have as far as the MOSIS reporting. We are now going to look at the core data reporting. Here is a look at the June cycle core data screens. The bolded information are the screens that have data populated onto the screen when you certify your MOSIS submission. The rest of the screens require information to be entered directly onto the screen. For screen 24A, the summer school application, as we mentioned before, it has an extended due date. It is normally due May 1st, but districts and charter schools have until June 1st to submit this information for this year. On screen 8, you are only entering information into the Safe Schools Violations field. For screen 9, discipline incidents display from the MOSIS discipline file that you submit and certify. On screen 10, you will manually enter the actual calendar for your district or charter school. If you remember, you reported the plan calendar at the beginning of the year, so you are now reporting the actual calendar. For screen 12, the special education exeter counts by age are displayed from the MOSIS student core file. Screen 13, the secondary headcount data is displayed from the MOSIS student core and enrollment attendance files. On screen 14, the attendance data is populated from the MOSIS student enrollment and attendance file. For screen 17, the physical fitness assessment data for 5th, 7th, and 9th graders are displayed when you certify the MOSIS student core file. Screen 18A for educator evaluation is where you're going to manually enter the evaluation for teachers and principals, and this is reported at the building level. On screen 24, the summer school courses and enrollment for your approved summer school program are displayed from the MOSIS summer course files. Screen 36 collects the method used to test kindergarten readiness, and screen 38 collects the method used to screen students for dyslexia. On screen 10A for the actual calendar, the days that schools are out for COVID-19 should not be reported in the count of days. And the actual end date should be the date of last in-seat attendance prior to school closing due to COVID-19. The weather hours and weather makeup hours should be for the days prior to closing for COVID-19. There are a few edits on screen 10A that you can ignore due to COVID-19. These include edits for total actual hours are less than 1,044, total actual hours are less than 522 for kindergarten PK calendar, and the district charter did not make up the appropriate number of inclement weather hours. So you will see these edits display possibly, and you can ignore them on screen 10. As a reminder, the deadline for the summer school application has been extended to June 1st, and we have included the link to the document providing additional information on summer school for this school year. Okay, so we have now covered the information related to MOSIS and core data reporting, along with any relevant COVID updates. We want to remind you to ensure Screen 3 and core data is kept updated as individuals change positions or leave your district or charter school, or if new employees start. We use Screen 3 to make contact with the various program area contacts, so it is vital that those individuals are correct to ensure information is received throughout the school year. We also have a listserv for core data and MOSIS, and you can subscribe to it on our website. We pre-subscribe the core data MOSIS contacts from Screen 3 and core data. So if you are on Screen 3 as the core data or MOSIS contact, you will automatically be added to our listserv. However, if you're not on Screen 3, then you can go out and subscribe. We continue to update the training page on core data MOSIS as well with current MOSIS ID and direct match tutorials. And we will be adding additional tutorials as the year goes on. You will also find the core data MOSIS reference manual out on our website. And just as a reminder, you can find all of the information, including the memos and other documents referenced today regarding June reporting changes due to COVID-19 in our June cycle MOSIS and core data reporting document that is found at the link at the bottom of the slide here. So that concludes the information that we have to share with you today. Thank you for participating. As we mentioned earlier, the recorded webinar, presentation, and questions and answers will be available within a few days on the department webinar website. We now are going to take some time to answer any questions that you may have. As in the past, when we are able to type a response to the questions, they will appear for you to view. If any of them need additional explanation, we will read them out loud. And so we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions now. And as we mentioned earlier, we will have other data staff from the various offices at DESE available to help answer your questions. Okay, so you should now see the questions and answers pod on the screen that you will be able to type your questions into. And as soon as we are able to provide an answer, then you should see it display with the question and the answer on your end.